programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nossos programas oferecem vários idiomas. Acesse suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The initiate has only acquired the power of lifting his intellect to the heights of knowledge by guiding his heart into the depths of veneration and devotion. The heights of the spirit can only be reached by passing through the portals of humility. Man can certainly have the right to gaze upon the reality, but he must first earn this right. You can only acquire right knowledge when you are ready to esteem it. Please watch on for the engaging spiritual wisdom of Dr. Rudolf Steiner.
Guten Tag, considerate viewers. Guten Tag means good day in German, the official language of Austria. I'm Maria. The hospitable people of Austria send you their sincere friendship and well wishes in God's loving care. Born in 1861, Dr. Rudolf Steiner was a great Austrian polymath, a philosopher and scientist who made influential contributions in the fields of education, science, spirituality, and medicine. He is perhaps best known for pioneering the holistic educational methods for the Waldorf schools. An eloquent public speaker and gifted writer, he gave over 6,000 lectures in his lifetime and gained recognition as a literary critic. His writings cover a wide range of subjects, and he published more than 25 books, including Mysticism at the Dawn of the Modern Age, The Way of Initiation, and Intuitive Thinking as a Spiritual Path, a Philosophy of Freedom. He developed and taught an esoteric spiritual philosophy called anthroposophy, based on the science of the spirit. Today, we'll read a passage from Dr. Rudolf Steiner's book, The Way of Initiation, in which he shares his deep inner realizations on how we're all capable of discovering the inner knowledge and treasures of the Spirit. How to attain knowledge of the higher worlds. The ways which prepare a man for the reception of such a secret are clearly prescribed. They are indicated by the unfading, everlasting letters within the temples where the initiates guard the higher secrets. In ancient times, anterior to history, these temples were outwardly visible. Today, because our lives have become so unspiritual, they are mostly quite invisible to external sight. Yet, they are present everywhere, and all who seek may find them. Only within his soul may a man discover the means which will open for him the lips of the initiate. To a certain high degree, he must develop within himself special faculties, and then the greatest treasures of the spirit become his own. He must begin with a certain fundamental attitude of the soul. The student of occultism calls it the path of devotion, of veneration. Only he who maintains this attitude can in occultism become a disciple. And he who has experience in these things is able to perceive even in the child the signs of approaching discipleship. There are children who look up with religious awe to those whom they venerate. For such people, they have a respect which forbids them to admit, even in the innermost sanctuary of the heart, any thought of criticism or opposition. These children grow up into young men and maidens who feel happy when they're able to look up to anything venerable. From the ranks of such children are recruited many disciples. Have you ever paused outside the door of some venerated man, and have you, on this your first visit, felt a religious awe as you pressed the handle in order to enter the room, which for you is a holy place? Then there has been manifested in you an emotion which may be the germ of your future discipleship. It is a blessing for every developing person to have such emotions upon which to build. Only it must not be thought that such qualities contain the germ of submissiveness and slavery. Experience teaches us that those can best hold their heads erect who have learned to venerate where veneration is due. And veneration is always in its own place when it rises from the depths of the heart. If we do not develop within ourselves this deeply rooted feeling that there is something higher than ourselves, we shall never find enough strength to evolve to something higher. The initiate has only acquired the power of lifting his intellect to the heights of knowledge by guiding his heart into the depths of veneration and devotion. The heights of the spirit can only be reached by passing through the portals of humility. Man can certainly have the right to gaze upon the reality, but he must first earn this right. You can only acquire right knowledge when you are ready to esteem it. There are laws in the spiritual life as in the physical life. Rub a glass rod with an appropriate material, and it will become electric. That is to say, it will acquire the power of attracting small bodies. This exemplifies natural law. Similarly, if one is acquainted with the first principles of occultism, one knows that every feeling of true devotion aids in developing qualities which sooner or later lead to the path of knowledge. He who possesses within himself this feeling of devotion, or who is fortunate enough to receive it from his education, brings a great deal along with him when later in life he seeks an entrance to the higher knowledge. But he who has had no such preparation will find himself confronted with difficulties, even upon the first step of the path of knowledge, unless he undertakes by rigorous self-education to create the devotional mood within himself. In our time, it is especially important that full attention be given to this point. Our civilization tends much more toward criticism, the giving of judgments, and so forth, than toward devotion and the selfless veneration. Our children criticize much more than they worship. But every judgment, every carping criticism, frustrates the power of the soul for the attainment of the higher knowledge, in the same measure that all heartfelt devotion develops them. In this, we do not wish to say anything against our civilization, nor pass judgment upon it. For it is to this critical faculty, this self-conscious human discernment, this prove all things and hold fast to the good, that we owe the greatness of our civilization. We could never have attained the science, the commerce, the industry, the law of our time, had we not exercised our critical faculty everywhere, had we not everywhere applied the standard of our judgment. But what we have thereby gained in external culture, we have had to pay for with a corresponding loss of the higher knowledge, of the spiritual life. Spiritually devoted viewers, it was an honor to have you on today's Words of Wisdom. Please join us again tomorrow for part 3 of How to Attain Knowledge of the Higher Worlds by Dr. Rudolf Steiner, vegetarian. Coming up next is Friends of Eternity, a special gathering with Supreme Master Ching Hai and cherished artists, part 28, right after noteworthy news. Here on Supreme Master Television. Please stay tuned for more constructive programming. May the Divine's light and beauty reflect on your soul.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/WOW.